Yeah, I mean, everyone comes down to the city or comes to Detroit, oftentimes looking at places like Ann Arbor with a lot of students, because many times people anticipate that that's where the most problems will be. And then to a certain extent, sometimes that added attention leads to more people inside the polling place, which can snowball and lead to actually more problems because there are more people and it's creating more chaos and paranoia. Well, I think there's, first of all, we have a history in our country of individuals being blocked from voting based on race, color, language, minority status. They don't speak English as proficiently as everyone else. So, in fact, in Hamtramck in 1999, the Justice Department actually had to step in and sue the city of Hamtramck to stop challengers from questioning the citizenship or otherwise the eligibility of people who would show up. And the basis for questioning these voters, according to the court, was simply because they had Arabic-sounding last names or looked Arabic or Bangladeshi. And so based on that, they were being challenged, and the Justice Department stepped in and successfully sued the city of Hamtramck to stop those types of discriminatory challenges from happening. So we know that that stuff still goes on in places like Hamtramck or in other places with a large number of voters of color. So in Michigan, under Michigan law, you can either show an ID or sign an affidavit saying you don't have your ID with you in order to get a ballot. And you have one of those two options, either of which will give you a regular ballot. There's nothing in the law that says you can be treated any differently if you sign an affidavit than if you have an ID. And so that said, if you have this requirement and it's applied in such a way that makes it more difficult for voters to sign that affidavit, then there's a problem. For example, some clerks in Grand Blanc Township, in Allen Park, I think it was, some clerks in smaller jurisdictions have sent out over the past year brochures that say you must have an ID in order to vote. And that's and then sometimes they'll say, or if you don't have an ID, you can show an affidavit in very small print underneath that. But that's not what the law is. The law says ID or affidavit, either way. And so the concern is, and I think the concern looking at November, is to make sure that that law is accurately told and applied in a way that makes sure every voter has to do one or the other. Now, our Secretary of State in Michigan, I think, could be doing a little better to be out there letting voters know that, for again, if their home's in foreclosure, that they can't be challenged. And our State Director of Elections has come out and clarified the law, emphasizing that it's true under Michigan law you cannot be challenged simply because your home's in foreclosure. But in my view, the Secretary of State should have been out there the day after that story broke to say, I don't care if these rumors are true or not, I just want everyone to know that if your home's in foreclosure, you can still vote, and have her as a figure, as a leader for voting rights and election law out there to assure voters that their votes will be counted. If there are any cracks in the administration process, they're going to become potholes on Election Day. They'll certainly be highlighted a great deal when you have an election that's creating this much attention and excitement.